Hi, so this is my random talking. I think this is the second time I'm coming up, and again, it's quarantine time, it's home clothes, and I'm trying to sit closer to the phone so that you can hear me better. So, random talking. So, today when I woke up, I got to know it was International Nurse Day. So, happy Nurse Day to all the nurses out there. And being a Malayali, we have our folks all around kind of being nurses. And initially I used to also be like, we just do off, all these girls from Kerala do nursing and they want to get married or want to get go abroad, make money. But right now, the way the situation is, I'm kind of quite proud that we have a lot of nurses who are out there helping out everyone. So my thought immediately ran back to all the hospital visits I've had. And so as a child, when you're growing up, you're always told, I was told slightly on the studious side. So they used to tell me like, you got to become a doctor. So yeah, I was born in Baptist hospital, so I definitely don't remember if there was a nurse. Definitely there would have been a nurse who's taken care of me. Post that, I think first time I go, and then I had a blood checkup when I was somewhere in third standard is what I remember. And what happened is, after the blood, they drew the blood and I saw that, and I want to become doctor, right? So they told me, turn your face, that's it. I was like, no, full bold, I want to be a doctor. I had a look at it and nothing happened to me. Once we came out, and after like 5 minutes, I kind of fainted. So then that whole idea of becoming doctor was little tarnished. But again, I was in third standard, so maybe that intensity, my own blood. So I thought only when it was my own blood I had a problem. So I was like, okay, we'll still nurture the thought of being a doctor someday. So after that, what happened is, now I have to go a little more reverse. So when I was 3.5 years old, that's the first time I am getting into a hospital. So I had fever, like very high fever, 102 degree, and it was my uncle's wedding, and whoever came for that wedding, everybody got fever. So that's mostly on how the food was. So the food was a little problematic, I think. Little folks from who came for the wedding, 8 to 10 of them also fell sick. Not like there were a lot of people, not like the COVID restrictions right now. Weddings don't have people. So most of them fell sick, and the thing was, they couldn't find out why I was having fever. It was not food poisoning, but they still couldn't find out what was the cause of it. And it was almost 1.5 month I spent. So I was a child, I was 3.5 years old. So kids section in the hospital. And morning, then they admitted me, they had to give me like some 3 injections. So the thing, first time they were like, I was a very sweet kid, okay. So first time they showed me a doll, and when I go to take the doll, they kind of injected me, okay, the nurse injected me. Then I was like, okay, now this is how you're gonna do it. So second time they showed me the doll, I was like, no, you're doing this to divert my attention and you'll give me the injection. So I'm like, no, I don't want the doll, you can keep it. Then they took out a scale, because it's a military, my dad's from the military, which is a military hospital, and they are not going to get afraid to whack you or give you a beating. They don't have time to being all loving. And nowadays I've seen the kids getting injection, they are like pachuk 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 pachuk, and then they give them a injection. Back there, it was just take the scale, and they just showed me the scale, and I was like, okay, the option 2 is also seeming very dangerous, so you might as well take the injection. So they put 2 more injections with the scale, and then they took me. So I was there for a month in the hospital and children ward, and beyond the age of 5 you can't have your parents. That's the rule there. So only if you're below 5 years old, you can have person accompanying you or staying with you. So if you're above 5, you can't have. So since I was smaller, like I was 3.5, 4 years old, I had my mom. So my mom also got fever from me. And she got admitted in a different section of the hospital. So then my granny came to stay with me, and she, I think, was a strong lady, like nothing can shake me. So she used to come and visit us, kind of a thing. I think I was staying alone. I was quite happy with all the inmates because there were a lot of kids, and then every day in the kids ward at 5 o'clock they used to show us, some Tom and Jerry and cartoon shows and movies. So it was quite entertaining, all the kids sitting down. Some kids were really sick, but otherwise most kids were like, chill. We don't know how sickness works, right? So we're all chill about it. So the nurse is there early morning. They have a shift handover around 6 or 7 in the morning. So, and my temperature, they need to keep putting that cloth and taking out and all that. So they were doing that over the night, like even after I doze off, they used to continue to do it every 1 hour, kind of a thing. And early morning they're supposed to give me a bath, and that's how their shift ends. So it's early morning. When I say it's like 4:30 in the morning they come, and I'm sleeping, dude, and they don't care a damn about it. And I was very small, right? 3.5, 4 years, and they just picked me up like a washing a cloth, and they just dipped me in that water washed me nicely, and just cold water, ice cold water. They used to put me in that to bring down the temperature, basically, not that they were harassing me, to bring down my temperature. And they fully pour the water on me and then put me, dress me up and put me back to sleep, kind of a thing. And then by 8 o'clock there's a nurse who'll come with the injections. So when she comes, I used to try to escape mostly, but she used to wait till I come back, and she knows, I go to my mother's ward, so I knew the way how to get to where my mom was admitted. So I used to go there. It's like, I don't want egg, I'll give it to her. So every day they used to have that 1 egg policy, kind of a thing, and I used to not like egg. So I used to take the egg and go, and the nurse would be like, I know you'll go at this time only, you'll go. But she was very sweet, and then she used to wait for me to come back, and she used to talk to me very nicely. Post that, I think, then they figured out it was typhoid, and we got treated, and we were fantastic, and we came out of it. Then what I remember is next is when my granny had an operation. So I was like, now I was in 6th or 7th standard, and she had a knee replacement and hip surgery. So when she's coming out of the operation theatre after the operation is done. She comes out with 2 bags of blood, one on the leg and one on the hip side, and I'm like, okay, I see this, and I start, feeling giddy and kind of falling types. Then I realized it's difficult to do medicine because it was not just first time I fell was because it was my blood, right? I fainted. Second time also I'm fainting because, but it's granny, but still I was fainting. Nobody else had a, problem, and it was just me. So then I was like, it's going to be difficult. So when I reached 10th, my neighbor uncle, he was having tuberculosis, like severe coughing and all that. From morning he'll be coughing. So when we used to have study holidays in 10th, so he was a little critical at that time, but at home. So he used to cough, and I couldn't study. Like, I would wait for him to finish coughing and safely go back to inside his house, and I'd be praying like nothing should happen to him. And then I realized that I couldn't see pain or face that pain which people go through. And I was sure if I'm becoming a doctor, I'm going to cry and make a mess out of it, such that if the patient sees me crying, they're going to think that they're going to die. So my empathy, sympathy, and emotional strength, I think I'm strong emotionally, but the thing is, I'm very I can break down very soon. So like cry. Death is something which I find it very difficult to accept at all. But yeah, right now we're kind of becoming immune to it, I guess. We no longer know how to react to death. I feel we've reached that zone. So that was my next interaction. Couple of other times I met a doctor, and she's like, why have you put on so much weight? You got to lose weight. And my mom, after she started scolding me, like the doctor went on a scolding zone. My mom, to support me, she told the doctor, like, she's sitting and studying, and she's like, what have you done? I was like, I've done my engineering. She's like, I'm a doctor. I've been studying more than you. I've done my, she gave her full list of, she's like a 50, 60-year-old senior doctor. Okay? So she gave her list of studies and all that she's done, and I was like, shit, why didn't my mother even try to save me? It became like that. And then she's like, you've not studied more than me. I read books, I walk, I cook, I do everything, and I have, I seem to be more healthier than you, and if I can manage my weight, you should be able to manage your weight. The pep talk was too good, and trust me, yeah, she's definitely studied more than I have, so I had to take it. And After that, I went for a wedding of my cousins, and she was a nurse, and she's a Kerala girl nurse, and I was like, okay, the typical Kerala nurse kind of a thing. But then I found out she was a military nurse, so she wasn't posted in Bareilly when she was getting married. So I was like, wow, first is nurse is a life of service, second is you're away from your family, you choose to do this out of passion for the job, and it's too good, yeah, like to be able to save lives. And right now, the structure of the hospitals and everything is in a very severe state. Be nice, these nurses have kept their faces smiling, given us strength, taken care of us, scolded us sometimes. Their work is very demanding high levels of compassion. So when they're communicating outside an operation theater, they are very sweet and nice. So be sweet to them. It's not like they can save all of us, but they are doing what they can at least. So yeah, be sweet to them, and happy International Nurse Day. We really appreciate what you are. I don't think we've been this appreciative of the job, but right now, the way things are, the whole of medical service, maybe even if it's an attender, to every person in the hospital, to even people who are even guiding people in the hospital, huge thank you to all of you. And it's not an easy job to stand there, give strength, smile, be strong, see people in pain, and not break down in front of them. So yeah, it takes a lot of grit, and salute to what you people are doing. Hats off at this moment. Thank you so much. And that's all from me. Bye bye. So this is this incident when I finished my MBA, and then I joined for job. So the workplace was Silkwood, and I live towards Yelahanka. That's like let's say 25-26 kilometers one side. So yeah, you can do the math. It's around 52 kilometers up and down for me. So I used to go and come to and fro every day. So I felt sick after initial days of work, and within a month I used to have my breakfast from there, from office. So I'm kind of little sensitive to food, kind of a thing, outside food, water. So basically water, I guess. So what happened is stomach pains and all, but I wanted to go to work, and then first month only, if I asked for a leave, like 6 months, they have that probation and things. So my manager was already like little, no, I can't give you a holiday right now and all that. So, and I really didn't want to ask him for anything, kind of a thing. So he was like, you won't get a holiday. And then finally, after 1 month of fever was coming, going. It's not like a very severe fever, but light fever comes, goes, kind of a thing. And I used to continue because it was my first job. I had to make my mark and all that thodo photo wala feeling. So then my mom was like, okay, we cannot be going on like this. Like, you just come, you take a paracetamol and you vanish, kind of a thing. We'll have to get this fixed. So we went to a doctor, and in the doctor shop also, after a lot of insisting from my mom, after a month almost, we went to the doctor, and we were waiting outside to meet him. And I was sitting with my mom, and I was talking to her, laughing, and I'm a little talkative. Okay, I'm a lot talkative. That's why this show is also happening. Okay, not a show, some random talking I'm doing. But yeah, so this is happening, and the doctor just walks in, and he sees me in full glory, smiling, and my mom is also full laughing. All the other patients are like I think they're in pain, so they were very quiet. Even I think slightly in pain, but not like pain. So I was there. But I was sick, so I went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, you work at Silk Board, you just want a few days rest, right? You want me to write rest, I can write, but you don't seem to be sick. And then he checked my temperature, so like I said, it was on and off, and he checked my temperature, and it was quite normal. And he's like, you seem to just you just want to try and escape going to work. And I was like, I didn't want to come in the first place because I wanted to go to work, and I've come after so many months, like 1 month, 1.5 months, because I loved going to work, and that's like what I wanted to do. And the doctor was like, no, you don't seem to be, a genuine patient kind of a thing. But then my mom was like, no, no, please do a blood test on her. For my mom, blood test is everything. She doesn't believe in all first round medicines and all. She directly telling the doctor, do blood test. And the doctor does orders a blood test. So the lady there, she draws my blood, test is done. And I was telling the doctor, no, I'm not pretending and all that. He's like, you're pretending to be sick, he told me. So I think the same day evening the report comes, and it's like, I have typhoid. Okay. And I was the first patient. I told the doctor, see, I told doctor, I'm not well. He's like, you're the first patient who has been happy that you have typhoid. I was like, you said I'm pretending. I'm not pretending. And then he gave me a dose of antibiotics. That didn't work. Then he gave me he put me on IV. So after that, I think for 3 days I had to go and get those injections done on the IV, which was super painful. And I had my seminar final semester. So that was my 4th sem of MBA. I had my seminar to give, and I went with a whole IV and all and gave my seminar, and I think my viva went easy because of that. So yeah, it was good. I mean, yeah, it was good. People never noticed the IV because I was wearing my shawl, so that I didn't want that extra piece of sympathy from them. But yeah, it was good. And then another incident I remember is when my granny. So my grandfather died a couple of months before I was born. So it's like a story from. So the incident actually happened like 28 years ago. So my granny recently, so with me, right? So I was, let's say, in first PU or something. So 10 years back. So when we went again to Baptist Hospital, that's where my grandfather passed away too. So my granny was there, and she had gone there for an eye checkup. And she saw a nurse, and the nurse also recognized her, surprisingly, because nurses did see a lot of people, right? So the nurse recognized my granny, and my granny went and spoke to her. And that nurse has been working in the same hospital for like so many years now, with 28-30 years. And my granny was able to see her, and she was very happy to see her. And my granny lost my grandpa back then. So he was very sick, and my grandfather was very hefty person. When I say hefty, he was 6'2" kind of a height, and he was huge. And this nurse, she's just a newly come lady. She's very young. She's in her 20s, I think, early 20s, and she's so tiny. She's not able to lift him. They had to turn him over or move him from the stretcher, or daily body bath and all that. So my granny and this nurse used to struggle to lift my grandfather and put him on the bed. So she that I think must be her first experience in handling such a heavy person, or she really remembers them because they kind of related on the language front. So yeah, that nurse immediately recognized. She came smiling, and it was really nice to know that she still remembers. And yeah, they are the angels who kind of we don't appreciate them enough, is what I feel. And it's very difficult to be nice to so many people on a daily basis who are in pain and suffering continuously. To see them, not with the corona situation, but generally also, it's a lot of endurance. And I am really happy about what our nurses are doing for us. Thank you. Bye.